Good evening, free enterprise fans. How y'all doing tonight? I'm Leggystarscream, and tonight we have Game 4 of dustygriff versus HTT3Z. I'm joined in the booth tonight by the one, the only, the Riversmccown.
Hi, I've got nothing to add. They don't call me the best color man in the business for nothing, folks.
So how you doing tonight, Rivers?
It's been a long week, but very excited to see how this match turns out. Of course, I believe if Dusty is able to finish off Fleury here, this will be make him the first person to win multiple free enterprise events, which is pretty cool. And of course, obviously, there's the lure of rooting for Fleury to win and keep this going one more game.
Yeah, this is always an exciting match. Dusty took the first two games, and Fleury managed to stay alive 2 nights ago, getting his first win on the board. So, hey, no matter what, it's not going to be a sweep.
And so we can already see these objectives. We've got a required package. We've got a required pan. And we've got the lower Babel boss, which should be open as soon as the runners get underground access. So depends on how that depending on how that all circulates, should be some interesting objectives for a potentially quick one if you find the pan early and the package early, or maybe everything's on the moon.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those where you never quite have a good read on how fast a scene like this is going to go until you're deep in the midst of it. Does look like we are starting with a Tella today, which is definitely a relief for both of the runners. Tella being a Swiss Army knife of utility, enabling some of the best grinds available to these runners right now.
Yeah, I'm sure they're both excited to see that right off the bat. I'm sure they're already planning their. They've already got the D machine charts up, and I imagine this will make the ordeals play very palatable early on.
Indeed. Of course, we do have free characters on, so our runners are going to be able to see a whole bunch of characters right away, be able to really hone in on what the seed offers they want to take for both the early game and the late game, because one of the most important features about this flag set, for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time tonight, is that anytime a character joins the party, they are not allowed to be dismissed. So our runners are going to be taking that Tella all the way through, but it looks like we're off.
And coming out of Baron, we have a Yang that will probably get dismissed very quickly.
Indeed.
And a hook, lead off hook.
Yeah, and of course we do have a king on the Baron throne, just probably not the one you expected to see right there.
Actually, and it's very cute that you want to come along, but why don't you babysit the king? He needs some help.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of our runners, depending on what we find, decides to take the Yang once that grind is set up for slingshotting purposes. Because Yang is everyone's favorite punch mage. He's a melee character whose scaling is very much based off of his leveling.
So we got a Baron check first for Fleury. Picking up the nothing in that pot. Gotta love it. We see Palom in the Baron in.
dustygriff does a quick dive into the waterfall cave. I didn't quite catch which boss it was, but it was not something he wanted to take right now.
I believe it was either a Bacon or a guard. I think maybe Bacon.
And it looks like both runners are choosing to loot. Dusty's in Damsian Castle, while Fleury finds a Rosa in the Watery Pass.
Great. That watery pass.
I mean, it has a Rosa. I'm giving it a 10.
Hard Sam.
We've got... I always have to second guess myself on the twins, but that is a Porum in Damsian Castle. So that's 2 white mages on the books.
Fleury did not take that Rosa just yet, and did find a ninja sword down there, so Edge would be a little bit more palatable if found.
Indeed. Dustygriff has awoken the hovercraft and is taking it over right away. We have that starting hook, so going in and checking what's going on down in Castle Edlin, both for the rather nice gear in the various boxes, as well as the potential boss check if this is our underground access.
And a rune axe hanging out there, that is a nice find as well. Very sellable, even if you're not intending to keep anybody with an axe. I really like this play early on in this, in all these flag sets. If you have the access and Tella, especially with exit, so you can just quick in and out and see what happens there. We don't know that hook is going to be required, but it is on the table at least. So
yeah, and especially because we found the hook right away, the Magna Key could be in play anywhere in the world.
that Forum got dismissed again. So Fleury's still on one character.
Yeah, that doesn't really surprise me. Oh, that's exciting on Dusty's side. We find a Cid, and everyone loves a dwarf, but that is a demist at the Rubicante spot. So that has implications.
Not only a bonus round, but the rare bonus nap round where you have to fight that thing for like 10 minutes if you don't get the right setup. So not something that's fun to see, but the Cid at least will help out early game.
Indeed. We'll see when our runners decide to go check out that demist, if they decide to go check out that demist, because that demist could be required even if there is a Magna Key lurking.
And so we've got Dusty doing some looting. He has used the save point as kind of a check because there is a one trap chest here and he's just found it. And so that's the quick reset, and then he can loot guilt-free without any with impunity. He can loot now.
Indeed, and over on Fleury's side, he's coming up. He's going to find that Cid and the demist as well. So neither of our runners are going to be at a disadvantage finding the Dragon of Mist, which is probably a relief for both of them.
Well, I mean, having done these in like high pressure situations, you definitely appreciate having one less thing to worry about, I guess. So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. And it looks like Dusty is giving us a quick look in the armor shop as well as the item shop. We have Soma drops for sale, which are interesting with Tella, though does not sell anything to pick one up now.
Yeah, apparently they weren't interesting enough. But yeah, if you have a Soma drop, you can get Tella 100 MP so that he can actually cast Meteor, which is a fun thing to be able to do on some boss fights. Of course, it will not help if they have to fight that demist, but there are several boss fights where just having that kind of crowd control is really nice.
Mm-hmm. Dusty is flying over to Mysidia, finds another Tella, and a cane. Interesting.
the main fella.
Yeah, dismisses both of them, unsurprisingly.
Well, you never want more than one Tella, I feel like, in most flag sets. So I get that one. Obviously, trying to set up, already knowing that you have Tella, of course. I think our runners will be dismissing a lot of characters, hoping to slingshot a few up.
Indeed. Looks like Dusty is in the Mysidia shop buying some Medusa arrows. Have either of our runners pulled a bow yet?
I haven't seen one yet, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. There's a lot going on. It's free enterprise.
Indeed.
So
That's why we have chat to bail us out, right, chat? Right?
Fleury going in Airline Cave. At this point in chat, really ignoring a lot of the loot right now. So
yeah. Potentially feels comfortable, might also feel like the loot there in the Antlion Cave isn't good enough to spend time on.
Well, also, I think when you're kind of in a race of this magnitude, you're looking for little edges wherever you can get them. And while skipping the Airline Cave chests isn't like a game changer, I mean, if you can pick up 20 seconds there, but Dusty spends looting, that's something you look into, I think. And especially in a race of this magnitude. Basically, win or go home for Fleury.
Yeah. And Fleury takes out that Dark Elf and pulls everyone's favorite Twin Harp out of that Antlion Cave. The Twin Harp has been an interesting check for...
We've got life pots in Kaipo, it looks like, over there on Dusty's side. So that's a little bit of the D machine calculus down. And he actually has kept the Rosa, so he's at 3 party members already.
Indeed. And Fleury is checking out those Mysidia characters. We'll see if he runs up the Tower of Wishes to pick up anyone else while he's here.
And doesn't look like it.
That said, the Rosa and Dusty Griff's party does answer the, have we seen a bow? Yes, Rosa's holding it.
That doesn't mean that Fleury has it, though, necessarily. Doing the Hobbs check over here.
Interesting. Definitely seems like Fleury is fishing for a particular character, or even just like a particular class of characters, and I don't think Edward is it.
Well, it's good to know the Kinato isn't anywhere nasty for our runners. For us, of course, it's devastating, but...
Yeah. Looks like Fleury has decided to go from one mountain to another, heading up the Mountain of Ordeals, hoping to get the old man online.
Mountains are nice.
Usually in my experience, you just buy AOL discs.
Mountains are nice. This is the life. That's what I'm told.
Huh. Apparently was just doing that for the character check, resetting out after seeing that Edward.
Going for Fabul first. Wow. You hate to see it.
Yeah. Dusty is heading up Hobbs, going to be very disappointed with that Spooty Bard on top of the mountain. But I think for both of the runners, knowing Kainazo isn't anywhere rude is going to make up for it.
Flurry investing in mute arrows. Those are a nice weapon that hits a lot of weaknesses in some of our fun bosses we've got for everybody.
Indeed. It looks like both of the runners are converging on Fabul. Flurry just a little bit ahead, and we'll see what flavor... Ah, it's me!
Good to see the extra weak Ice 1 come into play for once in a while in these seats.
But yeah, that glare hitting like a truck, taking out the Tella, but Flurry gets through, and we'll see the key item shortly as dustygriff enters the fight himself.
Oh, come on, Dusty, you've got to give me the text at least. Flurry didn't do it.
That is the green rock, the earth crystal.
As a runner, when you get something like that out of here, that almost feels like a trap. That's like if I commit to this to the actual Zod check right away, that's scary. The treasury could be nice though. Do we have any memes about the treasury?
Maybe. I was watching the last race, and like I guess there's a meme there. But given that Flurry seems to be really digging for characters, I wouldn't be surprised if he does it purely for those two characters at the top.
I believe memes have been engaged. That's what I'm hearing. Sources tell me memes.
So it is time for everyone's favorite game show.
Rate that treasury!
Well, got an hourglass out of that.
Yeah, that's a utility treasury, not a power treasury. So like, I'm gonna be generous and say a 6 out of 10.
Okay. I'm gonna rate it a Sid out of 10. Flurry doing some shopping around here. Question will be if he's going to stick around or not. The answer is no.
That is fair. It is a time commitment. It is 2 bosses for the 1 key item and 2 characters.
I will say the crystal armor will sell for a bit, which is nice.
Yeah, Flurry saying, okay, no, I need a bit bigger party, goes back, looks like grabbing the Porum.
I see. There are some reasons you prefer Porum early on, particularly the earlier version. Curious choice. I'll be excited to ask him about that after the race.
Indeed.
Oh, he's trying to unite the twins here. I see what's happening.
Twin is very powerful, especially early on.
Can I tell you how excited it makes me as a game developer to see people meting for the twin? for twin magic.
But you have this blue robe here. It is purely the water hag.
Sorry, my friend. You need to look on mountains today. Mountains was the answer.
Yeah, whereas Dusty is finding a mom bomb on the other mountain.
That's a real nice boss to have twin against.
Indeed.
Although in this case, not a particularly threatening fight, and the Earth Hammer should take care of things for Dusty pretty nicely.
And of course,
Question. Go ahead.
Waterhead goes down with no trouble with the Dark Imps behind him.
Those random monsters just always hang out next to each other.
Right? Making good use of that hourglass too that got pulled.
Yeah. Probably wishing he had the. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if it was him or Dusty that had that bought the Noose arrows, but probably wishing he had that right now.
Indeed.
Gonna try for the Power Staff Sid Berserk instead.
Yeah. Probably hoping just to get through this before that hourglass wears off.
Well, that crit will help a lot.
Yep. So that's a rat tail as well. So that's a really nice quick check to go make.
Rat tail plus twin magic, everybody's winning.
Dusty turns around and finds more round friends.
Now this fight probably not quite as great for the twin magic. That can get reflected, but well, the flare can get reflected.
Mm-hmm. And if you go a little wide with, what is it, Comet?
Yep.
Yeah, that might run you into Globe 199 territory, which is always exciting.
I don't know. I like playing fast moves with my CPU fights. I don't mind throwing some life potions here or there, but I get that it's a better strategy.
The rat tail turns into the darkness crystal. So, Fleury, when do you want all of the levels?
Well, judging by what I've watched so far, probably soon. Probably soon is the answer. We'll still have to go up ordeals to get Tella situated, but after that, should be a pretty quick order. And I suspect because the Baron in and there's a Palom there, there's a lot steering everybody towards that. So probably going to be a pretty quick grind entrance here.
Indeed. And Dusty takes out the CPU, going into the final fight of the mountain. In the shrine. It shouldn't be too bad. This spot is by and far the weakest fight up here on the mountain.
Oh, that's nice. A protect rank. It doesn't mean.
Never
Ooh.
mind. This might be a little bit.
Yeah, that's a waiting game. The Earth Hammer will help though here. This is prime Earth Hammer territory for your boy Sid.
Indeed. But it's always that moment of, okay, let's go in one last spot. It's by far that's the alt gauntlet.
Runner's probably pretty okay with this, honestly. The only thing that might be concerning for Flurry, actually, is having brought Palm and Porum here, he's going to want them to not get this experience, I feel like.
I guess it depends on what the 5th character he picks up is, because it really depends on whether or not that 5th one is the one he wants to slingshot.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe at least the Palom, then. But, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Starting to smack the Palom around a bit.
Yep. The slingshot, since somebody asked in chat, the slingshot, basically, if you have 3 characters that are 5 levels higher than the lowest level character in your party, they get double experience. So the way that Free Enterprise sets up for that generally is that you want some low level characters, and you do a big grind fight, get a lot of experience, and then that double gets you a experience boost, which we call a slingshot, and carries them into high levels.
Yeah, it is important to note, if you're trying to set up that at home, you do need a full party of 5 characters for the slingshot to work correctly.
So I believe Flurry will be looking for life potions before he does that. And Dusty, I think as soon as he gets out of there, it's probably straight to darkness at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So Palom was in Baron Inn, and the Porum that we found was in Damsian.
Yes. And at this point, I think Baron Inn is the correct play for Dusty, even if he hasn't made that check yet.
Yeah, you definitely want Palom. So, I mean, you're probably not going to leave him behind in a seed of having Tella already leveled and everything. Yeah, I mean, that's an obvious one to pick up anyway. Wow, I feel baited, Dusty. Did we see the bail out there?
I think he changed his mind literally in the amount of time it took him to land the Enterprise on a forest spot.
Who else have we seen besides the other Porum? We've seen a Rosa, which is in Dusty's party.
We've seen a Kane, we've seen a second Tella, and we've seen a Yang.
And 2 Edwards. One of my favorite things about the Free Enterprise community is the Yang-Yang split.
Yeah, and I'm one of those chaotic people who does whichever one I feel like at the moment.
So I guess kind of trying to read the seed, look ahead time. Once you actually do the D-Machine grind, which we expect both our runners to do at this point, after that, you've got Earth Crystal, Twin Harp, both open, both live. You have the hook route, and you have the entire moon open to you. That is an interesting conundrum.
Yeah, especially because obviously doing the hook route would get you directly on the way to the lower battle boss, but you're also banking on the fact that you don't pick up a Magna Key along the way as part of that particular bit of calculus.
Yeah, normally we would not know the Threemus location, but that actually kind of sways it a little bit in an interesting way here.
Yeah, because if that demist is gating any of your objective key items, and one runner does it and one runner does, that super changes a lot of the calculus.
Hey, Flurry. Hope you're happy there. Hope you're happy with those telespells. Here's a long sequence for you. Enjoy killing Palm again.
Yeah. The shrine here fully heals your party. A blessing and a curse.
It's okay. If you run the vanilla speed game, you want to kill Porum at the top of Mount Ordeals anyway, usually. So we'll just call it vanilla. It's vanilla.
Yeah, Dusty making the correct read of checking his freebie. Going to be sufficiently rewarded with that Darkness Crystal very shortly.
Having picked up the life potions and the Thor rages, I think he's basically set, right? Does he need ethers? I don't know if we've seen enough ethers. I know we saw one ether too in the treasury.
Yeah, I did not see ethers, but we'll see whether or not our runners continue to go shopping.
Music has not been checked yet, and I'm guessing it won't be for at least another 15 minutes or so.
Indeed. Yeah, Ground Flyer in chat is pointing out that Dusty seems to have a pocket full of Ether 2s. So, probably feeling pretty okay there.
Cool. Well, then he's basically set. At this point, the question just is who character 5 is for him. Because, I mean, he's taking the Palm, obviously.
Indeed.
I would be tempted, actually, in a race of this magnitude to not check the Moon character at all. But if you do commit to that, I mean, you're pretty much committing. You're doing all the overworld stuff first, right? So, interesting dynamic.
Yeah, and like, I will be curious to see how our runners' parties wind up in the end. Dusty not immediately picking up the character, so it does look like he's doing the Moon character check.
That's a safe and definitely a play that could pay off.
Yeah, especially if Dusty finds a character like Edge who has a high level, that would be useful to slingshot the lower characters, or maybe Iridia, but we'll see who it is momentarily.
I always love how long this cutscene takes.
Right? That's another Sid, and Dusty's like, not today.
Friend, you're already in the party. We don't need another one. So yeah, I guess this might be the scenario where you see Yang come to play. Punch mage it up.
Dusty looks at the...
Ooh, he's thinking.
Goes for the cane.
Okay, fair.
Decides against it. Oh gosh, Dusty. You've got me up
Speaking of betrayal of Kane here.
Was trying to go for the Porum for the second Light Mage.
Feel bad for Kane, but then again, if you play the vanilla game, you probably don't feel that bad for him. Okay, so Ether 1's there you go.
Fleury picked up a pack of Ether 1s in the Baron item shop.
Yep. And now we get to do some manip on Dusty's side, and I'm sure Fleury will be there pretty soon once he figures out where the life potions are, which I believe were in Kaipo.
That sounds correct to me.
So, Leggy, tell the chat really about what they're doing here, taking this encounter.
So, one of the flags that we have on for the tournament is E can't run, which means that any fight you run into, you won't be able to run away from, even if it's just like random imps on the overworld, which is why that Thor Rage went out to kill that fight, even though they're, usually runnable. This was put into place to prevent exactly what dustygriff is about to do. However, due to the tireless work of some community members who I feel terrible, I can't remember exactly which set of people did the work, produced a chart where if you take a specific number of encounters outside of Baron and you note which tile you get the first one on, you will be able to come into the Giant and find exactly the fight you're looking for, be it a Mac Giant or AD machine.
And with Tella around here, it's a D machine grind, basically, what we're looking for here. So,
yes. So, that searcher, when you bop it, will summon D machines on dustygriff's side.
D machines are actually the grind for the speedrun as well. It's got more experience than pretty much any enemy in the game. I think it's close to 40,000. And because of the various multipliers here with the slingshot, basically you can get Maloma and Gorum up to some very high levels without a whole lot of effort.
Additionally, D machines use that fire spell, which is HP percent damage. You'll always take 10% of your HP, so even going in at low-level party with weak, you'll be able to take them out before they are able to do too much damage that you can't recover from.
Right, yeah, so pretty much the only drama at this point about the fight, as long as our runners stay on track, don't make a mistake somewhere, is how many D machines am I going to kill per round? And the speedrun has a very specific setup for this so that you can get 3 at a time. Right now we've seen, I think Dusty has let off of 2 2s right now.
And the other interesting question to ask is how many D machines total our runners are going to take, because oftentimes you'll see runners go in and grind up the D machine fight until they hit, full-on power overwhelming. But given that we're still fairly early on in the seed in terms of overall checks done, some of our runners may choose to not grind all the way up and trust that they'll get the rest of the levels from doing the other boss fights and various checks as they go.
Yeah, in this case, I think knowing that demist is there and that you might be forced there to complete the lower Babel objective, I think you definitely err on the side of making sure you get nuclear for Palom, because nobody else in this party for Dusty is able to provide firepower in that fight, really. So you really, like, for me, it would be a non-starter to not get nuke. You need nuke out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I missed who Fleury took. Who was Fleury's fifth? There you go. It's a punch page.
Yeah. I'm just like trying to figure out how to say. I'm looking right at it. And so this is going to be interesting. Obviously, the Porum provides a little more utility and a little more safety, while the Punch Mage, provides another party member with a metric heck ton of HP, as well as punches that pack a
a hectare of power.
There we go.
So 481,000 experience out of that, doubled, sending it straight to Palom and Porum here for Dusty.
Yeah, you saw those.
Not getting up to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you saw the 42 levels on Palom there, so that's going to get him all the way up to nuke.
And that is exactly what you want out of this. So, kind of the main difference between the two of them right now, once Fleury finishes the grind, is party composition setup, and basically kind of comes down to how long of a seed it's going to be. Dusty will have a better Threemus fight setup based on this, whereas Fleury might do better with some bosses like Valvolus or something of that nature.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what roadblocks the seed has left for the party. They will be very, very few and far between in terms of roadblocks, because once both these runners are done with these fights, they are at endgame level.
Right, the speed run actually will level Rosa to getting the white spell, so that's 48 at the 2 SNES. Actually different in the Japanese version, but we're not playing with the Japanese spells, so that's what it is for that. You're just looking for the biggest spells you can get, and Dusty went and got nuke.
Now, of course, the question is, where to next?
Well, it doesn't appear the answer is the moon.
Yeah, judging by that hovercraft pickup, it does appear to be going on, getting underground, and beating up that Mist Dragon. Which, frankly, is a really solid play right here. You know that the Mist Dragon is a guaranteed key item. You know that you can take out Objective 2 the moment you step foot underground. Plus, you've got the 2 free item checks down there in the Fey March, as well as the Sylph Cave.
You also have the ability to peek that lower Babel boss before you fight it, which is also an interesting wrinkle into the whole scenario, given that you know that you need to fight that to finish the seed, unless everything spills out of the moon, basically.
So it will be interesting to see how this pans out. And it'll also be interesting to find out who's at the king-queen spot.
Well, I will say both of our runners are going to make short work of these couple of fights here.
Definitely.
It would be a shame though if we wasted like an ultimate troll job here on a seed where they got darkness early. Like if there was like a DK seed or something, that would be tragic. I would feel so bad.
Yeah. It just goes to show you how good both these not only these runners are at eking out every single advantage they can find, but just how one key item being accessible can totally tip some of the balances.
So here, we've just got an Assure. Okay, that's not so bad to waste. We can waste an Assure here. That's fine.
Yeah. And I think at this point, the nukes coming out from the Palom are one shot.
Yeah. You know, something comes out of the freezer, you just put it in the microwave. And, it's the Dusty
But,
strategy now.
you know, once you've defrosted it, you know, you do have to watch out for all of the mist.
Yeah, that can leave a mess. You got to make sure to nuke that down too.
Indeed. When in doubt, microwave it.
333 is a fun roll. Man, this fight could have been so nasty if there was no Dark Crystal. You really hate to see that.
Yeah, that's already over 10k damage done to that Mist Dragon.
Potential of not letting it get into the final form here. Casting slow to try to make that happen, of course.
Yeah, it does land the oh so close.
Wow, what a scrub.
So Rivers, know any knock knock jokes?
I don't know. Any?
Well, moments passed, Dragon's reformed, and is back in the microwave. But yeah, over on Fleury's side, he is now coming out of it a little bit behind Dusty. But depending on how checks go, this could still be anyone's game.
The real knock-knock joke were the nukes we made along the way.
There we go. That's an antlion at the lower Babel spot, which, given a powerfully mage composition, that sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that's a great find for Dusty. Not that Yang can't do a lot of damage to that thing too, of course, but that's something that all the white casters can hit is the best case scenario right now for Dusty.
Mm-hmm. Sets down, drops a save, goes back overground, looks to be checking the demist item before anything else. And, you know, I don't blame him. It can occasionally be really easy to just let that slip your mind if you get up to too many other things before you come up and check it.
I've definitely never forgotten missed in a race before. Nobody has.
Nope, I have no idea what you're talking about here. Sadly, it's just a bucket of cash.
And we'd have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those Ridias.
What Ridias?
They're here somewhere, maybe. Who knows, man? There's a lot of time left. A lot of ball game left. Although if our runners did find Ridia, no way they would take them at this point.
Yeah, both in terms of they've already finished their grind, but both in terms of the parties are full and there's no turning back.
Yeah, the keyless tower is the play here because of the objective. It's not something that you would rush into normally this early, but because you know that in all likelihood you're probably going to clear this anyway, you do it right away.
Yeah, so it's going to be hilarious if Flurry makes up time by deciding to fade Miss Dragon. I imagine Flurry will check that eventually, but I do like the play of laser focusing in on this objective right here.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the save drop down, but I mean, if it's something big, I guess, it makes sense.
Indeed.
It's a reasonable play. You can count on dustygriff to make reasonable plays. Just as surely as you can count on 9999 to pop out on Antlion here.
Flurry has microwaved Ashura and is now taking care of the leftover mist.
Well, there's no reward at the top of tower, but that is one objective down for Dusty.
Indeed. And now the question becomes, as with all things in this, where to next?
Well, I'm going to guess, just based on how I've seen Dusty play for a while, that the freebies will be next. You'll probably see the blanking on the name right now. Oh, just missed. Probably see the Fey March check and probably see the Sheila 1 check if Fey March doesn't have a pan already or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You legitimately hate to see that nuke missing right as the dragon turns to mist.
And getting the cold mist, man.
Yeah. I wonder if Flurry didn't drop the slows that dustygriff did. And so D-Mist is moving at a much faster clip than Dusty's was. But done, I think that was a Sand Ruby down here in the Fey March, so that's
that was a
basically
Sand
blank
Ruby,
at this
yes.
point.
Something that neither runner will probably return in. I suppose it is nice for Dusty to pick up more key items, though, just in case he's hunting on the moon. You can get these guys a little bit more leveled, this party, because he didn't level everybody that high, only the two.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Evil Wall and Dr. Luge down here in the King Queen spot. And with the party as leveled as Dusty's is, decides to go right in and take on the good doctor.
That's an interesting take. That I would call that the Fey March commitment, actually.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. You don't want to spend the time to have to run all the way back down here. You've got it, Sid, so you've got the machine weakness on Balnab and the alternate form of Lugay. So, might as well take it while you got it. A power shirt, which, don't get me wrong, is nice. Not what you want.
I've got the power.
Bow, 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 bow.
Going for the wall.
Ooh, one shot there on
Wall does not
the
care.
forum. Sometimes you go for the wall, and sometimes the wall comes for you.
Interesting idea you got here. However, I'm a giant wall.
Yeah, this is in the Leviathan spot, which does have a ridiculous amount of physical attack.
If I'm right, he didn't say it here, right? So, plop.
Yeah, the good news is he doesn't need to refight the Dr. Lugay fight, and honestly, outside of coming back and wanting to try this again, neither of the checks he found down here were useful to him.
This would be a great clutch out though if he gets it here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and over on Fleury's side, we have Antlion a la Microwave.
Just taking its step. Wall's taking the step here. Plop.
Does not get that last nuke off.
Plop.
Yeah. Does reset back down, still underground. Looks to be giving it a second go at least.
This could be a place where Fleur can catch him some time if he ignores this entirely. And it's nothing, of course.
Yes.
So while we're talking, while we were watching the wall close in on Dusty, Fleury did complete his first objective, the lower battle boss, and we'll come out of there and look at his freebies probably.
Indeed. So it's going to be a question at this point of who manages to gather up the 2 or 3 key items that our runners need first.
Oh, Fleury didn't check the Mist Dragon yet. Yeah, that's priority 1 then.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Yeah. dustygriff coming back around and dropping a blink up there on the Palom, which is probably going to be the big difference maker in this particular fight. Blink being an incredible utility spell that negates 2 physical attacks on a character.
Yeah, the thing about this fight in this spot is just that it's not that it's not doable, it's that you need the AI to cooperate on who it targets. You really can't have drops at the exact wrong times.
Indeed. Fleury going down and giving us the look down in Tomra. Going straight into the armor shop. Fine samurai shields, but those are not to his liking. I have to assume this.
Come on,
looks
samurai
like...
shields. Come on, that's the most useful thing in the game, man. What are you doing?
Right? I have to assume he's looking for a cursed ring.
Yeah, that's the gist of it, I think.
Oh no!
Hello, I am Wall.
Dusty ran out of MP.
Blop. Is he gonna try here a third time? I guess he is. Dusty making a big bet that this wall has something.
Yeah. We'll see how Flurry feels about the wall when he gets all the way down here.
Yeah, as somebody in chat said, Sans86, banging your head against the wall, taken a little bit too far.
There's the cursed ring down here in the Feymarch chests and shops.
Making a bandana as well for that Yang.
Yeah. Nice pickups all around.
Oh,
All
no,
right.
I guess it's for Pella. Or, sorry, for Sid, I guess. Fine, whatever.
Yeah. Both of the twins have blinks up, so I think at this point, Porum is going to throw blinks while Palom is going to throw nukes, and this should be fairly straightforward at this point.
Well, you still have to beat the Petrify. That's a thing here, too.
Yeah.
But these are good evil wall targets for Dusty. He's done a better job this time around.
Indeed. And plus, through the elixir on the Palom this time around, so hopefully the MP crunch won't be as much of an issue this time.
And we've got Flurry down here doing the Luge fight as well. That wall was down.
And it's just a vampire. Oh, God. That hurts my heart, too.
It was a metaphorical wall, not a real wall.
It was an attention vampire.
Wow. Well, I mean, Dusty is definitely a runner, I would say, has a good head on his shoulders. So probably won't let that tilt him too much. But yeah, if you spend, what was that, 8 minutes probably trying to get a vampire, that feels bad.
Yeah. And now Flurry's basically caught up to you in checks outside of that wall. So getting through that wall means that this race has gotten just that little bit closer.
So Dusty going for the Sheila 1 check here.
Makes sense. That's the last thing you can really do underground outside of doing Dwarf Castle.
And will Flurry stay? I mean, he is going back to save, it looks like, not exiting right away. So may fall down the same pit here.
And Sheila has... Is this even?
Well, you can't one check for Bull. in the speed. But you could have two-checked it, and that's on you, friends.
Yes. But that is a second objective that Dusty is going to have in the books very shortly, as Fleury has decided to try microwaving his own wool 3 to 5 minutes per pound on high voltage.
Is that made of butter?
How well are the boys punching? More like a lard than like a nice spreading butter.
It's a margarine wall.
It's also a marginally good fight, so. So let's just have a heroine robe, but you don't really worry about it because this is an objective.
Those are some scrappy sylphs.
Indeed. Hey, you hit this monk? Cool. Take this awesome robe for your women.
I see that you like beating people up. Me too, friend. Fleury gets to the wall first try, so that, even though Dusty did that already, does save him some time here. Didn't fall down quite to the same extent. Thinking about that great vampire.
Sheila too has a pink tail, which is terminal as far as key item checks go, but that is yet another objective in the books for Dusty.
Probably not going to turn that in. Are we going to the moon, Dusty?
I mean, when faced with a choice between Earth Crystal, Twin Harp, or the moon, I don't actually hate it. Obviously, it's the less fun choice because, you know, memes, but...
Well, speaking of memes...
That's not where I expected Dusty to land.
Good news about the memes, friends. We found an old one here.
It's an older meme, but it checks out.
Lousy meme conversation anyway.
I imagine Dusty will peek the boss down here in Cave Bahamut. Nope. Going straight up for it. I appreciate the moxie.
That is an Odin. That is a scary fight.
Yeah, even with your party as high level as it is.
The good news is that because it's so high level, because the party is so high level, the spell itself here, I don't think it does very much damage. It's just the actual punching that hurts.
Yeah. Luckily doesn't manage to one-shot anyone, which, you know, is often a concern.
So Fleury will be in the same position Dusty is in probably 2 minutes here. And then the question will be what Fleury wants to do. I don't think it'll be Cave Bahamut. I don't think that's in the cards. But
yeah,
you've got Twin Harp and Earth Crystal still calling you, and then you've got the Moon. You've got Dwarf Castle.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see where our runners go. I could see Dusty having made this Cave Bahamut choice as a bit of a gamble. Just a spoon today from Odin.
The real value was the memes we made along the way.
The real value would have been those bards. Unfortunately, the spoon flag isn't on, so yeah, no.
Oh, looks like we're going to charge that because he has reset this already. I think, right? He knows who this is. So I guess this is the moon charge down for Dusty.
Yeah, he is fishing for either exactly one or exactly two key items. We found neither piece of the forge nor the package. And with the just sheer number of potential checks here, I can't say I hate this play.
Yeah, I wonder how much wiping to the wall kind of put in his mind that he might need to make some awkward checks too.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is when you're running this, of course, you see in your mind's eye your opponent just playing perfectly, and you think if you make a mistake you're behind, but that isn't always the case.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those things in randomizer races because you don't get that knowledge of what your opponent's doing, where you can just as easily metagame yourself into making suboptimal decisions because you feel like you're behind, despite your opponent struggling in places or being further behind and trying to close a gap or any number of things.
Some French vanilla D-Lunars hang out here. Yeah, going back to all that meta stuff. It also can be a thing where Dusty's read of Flurry is that Dusty imagines that Flurry will go to the moon with this setup. So, I mean, it can when it's 1v1, there's a lot of mind games happening.
Indeed. And so it looks like both of our runners have two of their objectives down. They don't have any of the key items required for the last ones. They're both here diving into the moon. And we're going to see our first check momentarily.
Hey, 7 levels for Kella. Everybody's excited about that.
Well, that's technically a pickup.
Narrator, Dusty was not excited about the 7 levels. So, got top-down moon from Dusty and entire top-down moon. And for Flurry, just top-down main moon. No Bahamut Cave yet.
Indeed, and since we know that Bahamut Cave is a spoon, Flurry choosing to put that off could prove advantageous.
Flurry getting extra damage here out of Yang, actually, because of the Fire Claw. Getting to power these D-Lunars for like a 8k hit.
Yeah, so Dusty is faced with the next question of Wyvern Altar or going all the way down to the Ribbon Room. Looks like the Ribbon Room it is.
Personally, a bottom-down Moon Guide generally when I play, just because there's so much stack there. But Interesting to see that poor crystal sword also get ignored again.
Look, Wyvern just wants hugs. Oh, hey, Ogopogo, how you doing?
Well, this is something that could help Flurry out a lot if something big is here. Having that Yang, somebody who can actually just attack here rather than having to bounce spells to do real damage to Ogopogo.
Indeed. Gonna check the next door altar. Finds the elephants.
Oh, I kind of see that now that you say that. Interesting. He does have a lot of tusks.
Yeah. Just like no trunk. But there's phase 1 down.
I love a fire free sound effect.
Oof, the white comes out and heals for 5k.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that you actually can't throw white on either of the first two forms that it's absorbing, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
There comes the glare. Luckily, this isn't a great magic spot, so Dusty should be able to recover pretty easily.
It goes down. And we'll get our check. Defense sword.
Good news, there's a lot of swords on the moon. Bad news, nobody in the seed can actually wield the sword. Kane. So, oh well.
So this is going to be interesting. Flurry and Dusty are going into the Canadian Nope Noodle at about the same time.
Flurry might reset here because of his Yang's poor HP. See if we can clutch it out first. Needs a lucky hit or two, I think.
Yeah, that's a nice 2k punch.
Down goes Sid.
Solidly reflected nuke. But that zerked up Yang is putting in the real work.
Yeah, you just gotta make sure that you don't ignore that HP total thing, because Ogopogo can do half of the entire total here.
Yeah. And it looks like Pelham is the only party member really in risk of getting gotten by the big wave.
Right, because of the wall.
Yeah.
But the hope is that by that point you've already finished the thing off anyway, so.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Down goes Tella.
And out comes another nuke. And down goes the Nope Doodle for Flurry.
The Oh No Orzo defeated.
Adamant and a pass. Oh, that is spicy.
There's one thing I've learned about event finals. It's that you don't want to skip the Ogopogo spot, whatever it is.
Definitely.
And as we were talking about earlier, kind of thinking about bosses that could hurt party comp for Dusty as Dusty tried to optimize for Threemus first. Pogo Pogo is something that doesn't take quite as doesn't go down quite as easy to the magic spell stuff. It takes more specialized setup, and yeah, you saw him lose a little time there.
Not to mention getting a little got by the inventory boss.
We have not seen Valorous either. As Chad pointing out, Valorous could still be another boss that Dusty would struggle with compared to Flurry.
Yeah, there are 2 more spots left here up on the moon. If Val is in either of those, Dusty might be in a little bit of trouble.
We have the defense sword. Using that to use tents. Has to be a little careful though, because that Porum's MP is pretty low. I believe it's at like 120.
Wow, that's all right. How do you feel about the true terror?
Good recovery by Dusty to use that Venom. That'll save him some time for sure.
You know, it looks like Flurry is setting up as well with Venom.
Yeah, I think. I think you either take this fight, you would instantly reset if you weren't taking this fight. So I mean, they're both taking it. Flurry in a slightly better setup because he already had Tella dead, and you'd rather not have Tella be one of the people who survived. But otherwise, pretty even. Both runners played it really well.
Yeah, and both runners are out here going, okay, I need exactly one of 2 key items. So I definitely agree with the choice not to gamble off various spots.
RNG favoring Flurry here. Having Yang and Palm alive versus Sid and Tella is a big difference, especially considering Yang's got a Fire Claw.
Yeah, it looks like Dusty is just down to a Sid, a Starveil, and a Prayer. Oof.
Palm taking the wipe.
Yeah, that was a bad 50-50. Flurry is down first. By which I mean his Golbez is down first. So we're going to see what this is very shortly. There we go. That is go mode.
Hi. Okay, this just got spicy.
Dusty is very, very close behind.
Maybe 20 seconds.
Yeah, and you were talking about how Dusty's party is a little bit better set up for taking on Threemus.
Yep, because he's got the reflex strats lined up, whereas Flurry does not. Only having Palm.
I cannot imagine a closer race right now.
All right, Alright, so just gotta turn that package check in, and then both of our runners have the pass. They're leveled, and probably see some Z's pretty soon.
Indeed. But first, we have a fun package sprite coming out.
Wow, Golbez was Golbez had it and then he lost to it. Wow. Just a reminder of Golbez's crushing defeat. Got a palm here that neither of us will take at this point. We're just on our way to get out of the village, thanks.
Yeah, for once, we've got yet another Black Mage Summoner.
Okay, 123.09 it looks like fade on Flurry. And 123.17 for Dusty. So that's 8 seconds.
This is intense.
Flurry. Flurry. No. No, Flurry.
Flurry, no. Flurry, you have the crystal. In the meantime, Dusty is going straight into that Z fight.
So I guess we should ask a question about. Let's see. I'm looking at my notes.
Oh gosh, it's a wyvern.
There's something about a keister that gets kicked.
Yeah, so one of the big things about this randomizer is that Threemus, we leave him exactly where he is. Big bangs are nasty. We don't want to deal with that in Antlion Cave. Too much renovation cost. Best just to leave it down in the core of the moon. So Scala has put a very, very special face on Threemus for each of the matches of the finals. So we're going to get a world premiere of the butt we're kicking tonight.
So Flurry did throw away some time there for sure, but not over yet. Still getting this fight probably a minute and change behind.
Yeah. It is not over until the screen flashes on Z.
Don't go shopping, Flurry. This is serious time. Those meddling kids.
Oh, Scala, you beautiful person.
So if you're struggling to understand why he is on vacation here, Fusoya, a character in the vanilla game, not in the flags for this tournament. We took him out, and so here he is being OP, just on the other side of things this time.
Now you are feeling the revenge of the Fu.
Is that like the return of the Mac?
Sure.
Return of the Fu. So Dusty's strats for this fight are a little bit different than Flurry's will wind up being. Dusty using nuke, white, reflect strats all the way. Flurry has Yang and Pelham, so doesn't have the extra safety, I guess, with Orm here having white. So he'll be reflecting nukes, of course, but other than that, beyond Yang, you do a lot of damage here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fusoya. Those big bangs can be dangerous, but there is a window where if you direct cast a spell onto Fusoya, you can nerf the big bang, as it's called, and reduce its damage by at least half.
Yeah, the way that works is based on the multiplier gets set when you successfully nerf. So if you nerf it, the multiplier goes on to I think 1 hit versus I think it's 2 or 3 otherwise, depending on which phase you're on.
Mm-hmm. And now it's just sit back, relax, and wait for the screen to flash.
This is going to make some really awkward moments in the future when Fusoya is actually in the seed.
Look, I understand the struggle of not wanting to come back from vacation. So you just have to pretend that the food in your party is, wearing a business suit. It's like, no, me, we need to get back to work.
And right there, dustygriff is your Zenith Zone 3 champion.
GG, with an official time of 1:29:11. We'll see if we can't get him in here. We'll see if we don't have him in here. Congratulations, champion.
Hey, GG's.
So, what do you think about walls?
They're evil, I believe. Definitely not good. Yeah, that was frustrating.
What were you thinking after that? Were you actually because we were kind of speculating here? We don't know. We're not inside your brain. Was kind of that moon play? Was there any side of you that wanted to do Twin Harp Earth, and then you just kind of felt flustered by that, or how did that shake out in your head?
Yeah, absolutely. I was chatting a bit about it with Fleury after the race, and basically ended up fading those primarily because of that exact reason. That evil wall just took so long, and I kind of would have thought in this case that Fleury would have done those other things, though he didn't. But yeah, but yeah, that worked out anyways. But yeah, that was basically where my head was at there.
Yeah, we saw you talking in there, and I think we just said we said on stream. I don't know if you were watching yet or not, but there was 8 seconds between you guys coming out of that package cutscene, and that unfortunately, as you're well aware, Fleury finished the package cutscene.
Yeah, he that was a bit rough. Fleury was telling me about that, and I just saw it in the restream right just now, and yeah, that's definitely frustrating and fluster. Can also fluster you a little bit when that sort of thing happens. It's happened to me in races before. Yeah, it's definitely tough.
GG to Fleury has just finished the seed.
Hey, GG's.
1:31:27 that official time. So
Yeah.
you, Dusty, you are our first ever 2-time champ, winning the World Series of Free Enterprise and now Zuma Zone 3. How does that feel?
That feels pretty good. After I came out of World Series, my ultimate goal was to win the Zenith Zone. I was like, maybe in a few iterations I'll be able to make it deep cut into one, and didn't expect it to really happen now. And this one just went really well overall for me. I think there were some times that I did stupid plays, as I always do, but I'm pretty happy with how I executed mostly through this tournament. So
It looks like we're also joined here by Fleury14. Fleury, I'm sorry, but Steve Cohen still owns the Mets. That's all
I
got.
mean, speaking of stupid plays I made, still kicking myself a little bit about that package there, but yeah, that was a really good race. That was a very fun seed.
Yeah. So, for both of you, what were you thinking about party composition wise? I know that there was a lot of digging around and trying to decide because that darkness crystal came early.
yeah, it came at an extremely opportune time, to be honest. It was kind of perfect timing for me because I was going to maybe slingshot. Well, at that point, basically after I finished Town of Baron, if it wasn't darkness there, I was basically thinking, well, I'll pick up Kane or I'll pick up this Palom here and maybe a Kane or something, leave the Kane down or something, and then go through the hook route just because I could get virus off of the Mad Ogres with those hourglasses we had like very easily, and then that hook route wouldn't be too bad with that demist. But then it was darkness, which kind of flipped all my decision making around, but also worked out extremely well because I had 2 open spots at that point, and I kind of flip flopped on decision making there because I picked up Kane first. I think I said, oh, I'm gonna reset this because I actually want Porum for my 5th because getting white and nuke at this point would probably be pretty nice. So worked out very nicely.
Yeah, I guess for me, I was actually a little upset when I saw it because I had passed on Rosa to take Porum, planning on twinning my way through a fairly decent chunk of the early and mid game, and then Darkness Crystal shows up, and it's like, can I have Rosa back? Ended up not really mattering that much. Like, Porum is just fine, but like when I saw the Palom there at the start, I was like, all right, that's one character who's going to be in the party. And I was just very fortunate that we had a Yang to slingshot as well. I was very happy about that. So slingshot Yang, slingshot Porum. It was more upsetting to like go through the effort of trying to keep Palom down to get a proper slingshot, thinking, all right, I got to get Porum up to 15 here, and then like the one encounter for the 3rd one in Mount Ordeals that would have rendered that all moot happens to be there in the gauntlet. I was like, I could have just twinned my way through CPU. Great, okay. But other than that, like, I felt like the composition was pretty straightforward. Like, in the end, I think you were better off taking the Rosa over the Porum, but otherwise, I think slingshotting Yang and Palom is the way to go there.
Yeah, and it was interesting to see you guys both on the moon because Dusty, you had a reset at Ogopogo. You had more of an interesting fight there, and then the kind of Golbez RNG kind of evened it out too, to where you had Tella and Sid up, whereas Fleury had, I believe, Yang and Palom. And so that kind of made it so even though it was pretty close when it started, I mean, coming out of that, you guys were within probably 20 seconds of each other.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of that part, and it seemed. I think it kind of goes to show how good of a series this was because us being so in sync and in step, our decision making is very similar. I find it pretty hilarious that we chose the exact same 3 things to fade out of on Earth, and then go to Moon and figure out our way from there. But yeah, I think Fleury mentioned this previously, where it's like you play enough of these and these seeds and these flags, you kind of get a feel for when you need to make different decisions. And it was like an interesting point there to say, okay, I'm going to go to Moon, and then yeah, just like you said, it was tight fights and back and forth.
Yeah, it was not the nicest moon I've ever seen. Got a little fortunate, I think, on the Golbez one, in that he left Yang. I didn't want to reset and lower the battle speed to ensure that I could get like everybody star veiled, so I just had the Porm and Yang, and it's like, well, just please leave one of those two. And was fortunate that he happened to leave the Yang, so that was nice. I think we both like put our own twist. I've been a fan lately of Murasame first, Into the Rest of the Moon, and I think Dusty did Bahamut first, so we both kind of had our own thing there. But otherwise, yeah, it was pretty tight.
And we're going to take a quick moment here to let everyone take in and appreciate the harp song.
I'm going to talk over the harp. I don't care.
Hey, I only promised a brief moment.
I'm a wild card. You can't stop me from talking over the harp.
Anyway, we are joined by the Skulla Kitty, the wonderful, in fact, Skulla Kitty.
I was about to say, this is the one harp song you can talk over. So first of all, hi everybody. With this match, this is the close of our third annual major tournament, and I just want to take a moment here to, at the end, first of all, congratulate dustygriff on his win. And as Rivers said to you earlier, you are indeed our first ever two-time event champion. So congrats to you.
Thank you.
And of course, I also want to offer congrats to Fleury as our runner-up. You put up an equally valiant effort throughout this whole tournament.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So I'm just going to take just like a few minutes of everyone's time real quick. I just want to say a few things and just thank everyone for making this event what it was. First of all, I want to thank the Free Enterprise admin and development team, some are who are here in the room with me. This has certainly been our most complex and challenging event for us to put on logistically. And it took a months-long team effort for us to tackle it. And we couldn't have done this without each and every one of us putting in long hours to make this labor of love a success. And that includes all the planning that led up to the event, to each and every one of our hundreds of matches until right here and now. And it's always an honor to work alongside each and every one of you. And next, I'd like to thank our amazing Restream team. To those of you who have been keeping track at home, we restreamed over 260 races over the course of 3.5 months, sometimes up to like 6 races a day. We had over 80 restreamers, commentators, and trackers involved over the course of this event. And again, we couldn't have done it without all of you. I am looking forward to raffling off some prizes for some of our team. And just remember that all of you deserve so much gratitude for the support you've given to us and to this event. Obviously, we couldn't have done this event without the amazing outpouring of energy from all of our racers. With over 100 participants, this is far and away our most popular event. And whether you were a Free Enterprise veteran or someone just getting their feet wet, we've been blown away by how dedicated and driven you all were to putting on amazing races and pushing your skills even further. I hope to see so many of you back again, either for our next big event or as a part of our community for our different community races and clubs. I obviously have to give a big thank you to our broadcast partners, RPG Limit Break and Randomania. We couldn't have run something this big and this complex without support from these communities and their admins, and it's been a really wonderful partnership throughout. With some additional bonus shout-outs to Captain Uhu, who helped make our overlays, and Fred Coughlin, who ran our tournament site. Both of them were instrumental to us being able to run this event. And finally, I want to thank each and every one of you watching here live and sharing this moment with us, or watching afterwards on YouTube. Whether you followed and watched and chatted all the way through as many races as possible, or you just lurked and watched on occasion, thank you, all of you, for being a part of this community. I've had people both inside and outside the free enterprise community tell me how this is one of the warmest and most welcoming randomizer communities out there. And that is something that not only comes from the admin and devs at the top, but for the folks who just gather around as well. So thank you, all of you, for helping us create a good, healthy atmosphere day in and day out. To have seen so much support, to have seen this community grown over the course of the last 3 years has been an absolute honor and a privilege for me. I'm so happy we could bring people so many good moments and memories at a time when we all need a little bit of lightness in our lives. So if Free Enterprise has got you on the edge of your seat like you were tonight with exciting plays and tight races, or it's made you laugh over a meme or a Z-Sprite, or it's warmed your heart to be in a fun and welcoming space, or just made you smile and made your day a little bit better, those bits of happiness alone make all of this effort worth it. Take whatever positivity you found here and carry it forward and celebrate the spirit of free enterprise and all its randomized acts of kindness in your own lives. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, all of you.
Am I supposed to talk over this?
Yeah, I
Okay.
feel like I don't know what to say.
That's okay. There's not a dry eye in the house. I have done my job. No, for real. Thank you, everybody. This has been a wonderful event, and it's been amazing to watch all the way through.
Well, then, Scala, thank you for doing all the work that you did, because, I mean, you really do pull a lot of the share of this, and especially in this tournament, I know that you really worked extremely hard on a lot of levels, and yeah, we're really appreciative that you help guide this community and take it to the places that it goes.
Thank you all so much.
And I'm just honored to be here.
I'm glad to have so many wonderful people here, so many people I can call friends here. Absolutely. Friendos! But I think we are going to wrap this all up, and I do believe we might have someone we're going to send all this good love and energy towards. I'm waiting to have it be confirmed. This is why I don't usually get on the mic, y'all. All right. Do you want to give it away? One of our wonderful commentators who were here. And also, I want to thank everyone who put in a lot of work for the finals. It has been really amazing to get to showcase some of the best talent we have. And that is talent at all levels. The last 4 matches.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we get one final shout out for Alice, our tracker, and Neobari, our restreamer. Without either of you, it would just be Rivers and I talking to ourselves the entire time, and who knows how that would have gone.
You don't want to know.
You really don't.
Well, with that, I think we are going to wrap it up here for tonight. We are going to go raid Pixel Tamer, one of our runners, one of our Restream team members. Yes, do not spoil this, but just go and give Pixel Tamer lots and lots of love. And I guess we'll see you all again soon for the next Free Enterprise event. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
You can spoil that I talked over the twin harp. That's it.